Jinapor. He's a member of parliament for the Damago constituency and the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee. He raised the issue in parliament during the debate and says that indeed this is the misplaced priority for the government decision to purchase this new aircraft. Abu, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Why do you believe, and you say so, that indeed it is a misplaced priority?
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Jinapor. Can you hear me?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, my good friend, Sammy. Good evening to your listeners.
I am asking that why do you say that this purchase is a misplaced priority?
Well, I think there were two issues that came up on the floor of Parliament yesterday. The first one was the question as to how much has been programmed in the 2026 budget for retooling of the Ghana Air Force. And that matter was conclusively settled on the floor of Parliament. And indeed, the Honorable Majority Leader himself conceded that the government had programmed 1.2 billion United States dollars to retool the Ghana Air Force, which includes 4 helicopters and 2 presidential jets. The issue we sought to raise on the floor of Parliament, by that I refer to the minority in Parliament, was the question of the quantum, which the majority did challenge, which was established and proved, and which he considered, as I say. And secondly, whether or not the timing is right, and also the scope of the retooling. Because as you can imagine, Ghana of today, where we have all kinds of problems and challenges which are to be resolved, should we be spending some 13 billion plus in purchasing aircraft? I think nobody can quarrel with the plan to retool the Ghana Air Force in terms of procuring helicopters for them. And I'm also quite clear in my mind that one will not necessarily also quarrel with retooling the Ghana Air Force in a manner that they can ferry the president about in the world for him to discharge his very important and onerous responsibilities. But the question is the quantum of amount and the scope. For example, questions have been asked: should we buy 2 presidential jets, for example? I mean, can we make do with, say, 1? And can we look at having 1 for long range, because we already have the Falcon, which is for short range travels, and the amount of money which is being programmed, can we have an arrangement which will be less than that amount? So these are legitimate questions that I'm not too sure is a minority alone raising these questions, but these are questions that every Ghanaian, I believe, will have on his or her mind in terms of the situation our country finds itself today, and the need to invest in the real sectors of the national economy to generate jobs for the teeming unemployed youth. Should we be spending 13 billion Ghana cedis plus 13 billion plus in purchasing presidential jets and so on and so forth? So these were the two fundamental issues which were on the floor of Parliament yesterday.
Abu, you've been a former Deputy Chief of Staff and a Minister of State for Lands and Natural Resources. Do you think we need a presidential jet?
I think the president, and by that I refer to every president, should be given the necessary tools to enable him discharge his responsibilities well. I don't have any difficulty with that. The minority has no difficulty with that. And I don't think any Ghanaian should have difficulty with that. The question is always, as they say, the real issue comes up when we get to the details. And those were the issues which were raised on the floor of Parliament yesterday. But whether the question as to whether or not our president should be given the necessary logistics to discharge his functions and represent Ghana and work for the people of Ghana, we don't have any difficulty with that, and nobody should have a difficulty with that. The question has always been, and is today, the amount of money, the scope of the procurement, and I believe that government should come forward to answer these two questions and get the country satisfied that the Ghanaian taxpayer is going to get value for money.
If it's always the quantum and always the amount, will we ever as a country have the amount, set amount to purchase this, when many people regard this to be an urgent matter and indeed it must be addressed?
Well, that's not the point I'm making. I mean, like I said to you, I've heard people raise the issue, for example, that should we have 2 presidential jets at a go? Shouldn't we have one? And the timing and the amount of money programmed and so on and so forth. So these are legitimate questions. As we speak today, we have a Falcon, we have a presidential jet, which is not, I mean, most experts have said is not particularly fit for long-range travels. I mean, it cannot travel, for example, for 12 hours without refueling and so on and so forth. So if you have that which can take you to, say, Tamale, Abuja, Abidjan, short-range travels, shouldn't we be thinking of an aircraft which will suffice or be fit for purpose for long-range travels? Should we be burdening ourselves with 2 aircrafts at a go at this time? These are legitimate questions. I'm not too sure that these questions are destructive. These are constructive and legitimate concerns and questions that I believe every Ghanaian will want to ask or want to find out. It's a question of prioritization.
Abu, thank you very much for your time. Samuel Abu Jinapor is the Member of Parliament for the Damongo constituency, the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. This is Eyewitness News.